And if I were to ask you to rate yourself on how often you ask for help, from one side of the scale being frequently to the opposite side, no way, never, where would you land on that scale? Now, I believe we would be fairly spread out and representing both sides well, but I think one thing that most can agree on is that we would rather be able to do it ourselves, right? Without any help from anyone else. It's not an enjoyable thing to admit that we need help, or that we're not good enough, or that we messed up and put ourselves in a tough situation. See, this line of thinking can easily spill over to our spiritual life. And we see it at the very beginning of the Bible, of creation, Adam and Eve. There is disobedience, sin, shame, and hiding. And neither of them ask God for help in the midst of that. And we oftentimes react in that same way. Sin, shame, hide. So what's the alternative? And here's the Apostle Paul in his words to the Galatian church. Galatians chapter 5, verse 1 says this, "So Christ has truly set us free. Now make sure that you stay free and don't get tied up again in slavery to the law." See, there's a very important word in that verse that is mentioned twice. Did you catch it? Free. Christ has set us free from the burden of trying to do it all by ourselves. It's true. It's straightforward. So the question is, why don't we live this out more? I think it's because we forget this incredible truth that nothing can separate us from the love of Christ. The prophet Isaiah talks about God's commitment to us in this chapter. Chapter 43, verse 2, he says, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you." He's talking about God. "And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze, for I am the Lord your God." There is freedom in knowing that we are not alone and that there is always help in the form of our loving God.